No, but they're outrage media. That's the best way of putting it. They're outrage media and Otaku, and they're going out of business, so it makes me feel happy a little bit about it. And I don't speak for all gamers. Well, actually, I do. Fuck it. I am Gamer King. I speak for the gamers.
Whenever a Nintendo Direct happens, all you see in the comments is, yeah, but what does Corey think? Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dustin.
And I'm Corey.
And we are America's favorite couch play cousins.
Absolutely.
Today's topic of discussion is gaming or gamer stereotypes. I'm not sure how we should reflect that.
I think gaming stereotypes, maybe, because just
it's
get it all in
It's going to hit one of those. Things that may come to mind when you hear the term gamer. And we have a guest with us today. Don't freak out. It's a girl.
Oh, my God.
And that's Sam. Sam, how you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
So do you identify as a gamer girl or a girl that games?
I identify as someone who wants to sell my bathwater so I don't have to work anymore.
So the reason we've invited this hen into the cockhouse is because the first thing I want to talk about is female gamers. And although Corey's kind of a girl, we thought it'd be nice to gain some true perspective. But first, we will all be drinking throughout the episode, as is tradition, Sam included. It's initiation. And also, it's just cool, kids. You should try it.
If you want to come on the show, you can't be sober. It's a rite of passage.
Right. And tonight's beverage of choice is Wiggle whiskey.
Now, you don't even know the name of what we're drinking.
Wiggle.
Wiggle.
And also make sure that you stay tuned to the end of the episode because we're going to be talking about a very special giveaway that we're doing right now on our Twitter page.
Already selling out.
Yep. Episode 6, it just felt like it was about time.
Felt about right.
So that being said, let's start off with girl gamers, female gamers. I don't want to offend.
Okay? Hey, you're using the wrong vernacular in that.
Yeah. And so, Sam.
Yes.
Why don't you, is there...
He's so nervous. He hasn't talked to a girl before.
First, is there anything you want to say about yourself? How long you've been a gamer, favorite types of games, anything really. Just
Blood
give us some
type,
context.
Your
full
history.
Your home address.
I pretty much started out gaming as soon as I could really walk.
Wow.
I started on the Sega Genesis, the console, not the handheld, playing Sonic, Duck Hunt, all of those fun things. Always been a Sony girl. PlayStation 1 was my first console, and I've been really just growing from there. I've been gaming ever since.
Oh, that's cool. So let's start out by asking you then, what do you think of when somebody says the term girl gamer? How's that make
Or is it gamer
feel?
girl? Which one really twists you the wrong way?
Probably gamer girl.
Gamer girl? Okay.
Is it the term girl? Is that just the offensive thing?
I don't know. I think whenever someone says I'm a gamer girl, it just makes me think of that stereotype of, chewing on the Xbox controller saying they're playing a Sony game. The fake.
Wait a minute. So there's an image of girls chewing on cables?
Yes. You've never seen that?
Have you never been on Pornhub before? Jesus.
I don't do a lot of things.
I think I know what you're talking about because I've seen it's like if they take a selfie and they've got all these controllers laying on them and stuff like that.
But they're chewing on it.
And they're being suggestive to a certain extent.
Oh, that okay. Yes. I was thinking mental issues no. Guys chewing on the cables.
No, think more seductive, more sultry.
Oh, okay. So it's like a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Well, that being said, okay, so that's like an image, but what's your experience? Like you said, you've been gaming since you were walking, which is very impressive. Mm-hmm. So in that amount of time, what have you seen?
Well, personal experience, I've generally speaking avoided multiplayer games. If I do, I just don't even have my mic on. I don't even talk. So I just don't even want to.
Girl.
Yes.
You don't try to do hey guys.
Yes. It actually kind of time to think about that.
Sam can be kind of that's kind of a both gender name. That
I
kind of
think
works.
What's your name actually? It's very you could go both
I'm
ways.
Sam.
Why not? No, but going back to playing games online, I remember playing Destiny 1. My normal squad, they weren't on to play the raid for the night. So, screw it. I'm just going to find someone to play with. And I did. So I put my headset on, trying to be helpful, trying with communication. Because, you play Destiny. It's communication's key.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I said a word, I just saw everyone's guns point towards me. And they're like, what? I was like, can we just play the game? Like, this isn't necessary.
Wait, they had to turn towards your,
There's
character model?
There's an in-game reaction to you being a girl.
Yeah, I was my little Titan. I had my little Gouge-horn, and they all just turned and stopped. I was like,
Wow.
That's
right,
crazy.
right.
Like, I thought that was like literally a stereotype.
Oh, yeah.
I think that happened like in real life. That's crazy.
Well, so I know one common misconception, when we talk about female gamers is, I don't know if it's necessarily a common misconception, but I think the idea is that they're in the minority, right? And that's why it's girl, because it feels like we're in this sea of just cocks, just
catching a unicorn out in the wild.
Yeah. But the truth is actually they've done studies and these go back for a little while now, but recent, within the year studies or so now are showing that about 48%, we're creeping in the 48% percentage now of girls being gamers or female gamers.
That's basically half.
That's half.
Yeah.
So, and I think sometimes a lot of stuff in our culture today, we almost view the old ways of thinking as if it's still a thing, but a lot of that just isn't that true anymore. And I wonder how often today. Well, I mean, you said Destiny. I guess it's relatively recent.
I think there's a little bit of a factor in there. I think it's a lot of guys play competitive games. I'm not saying girls don't, but I'm saying and I'm not speaking for women, but I'm saying I see a lot of girls playing, story-based games, things like that. And I think guys are more drawn to these, sweaty PvP games that, a lot of girls aren't drawn to. So in a vacuum, we do only see guys in these games. So when a girl does pop out, we're like, whoa, oh my God, they exist. But I think it's just because it also depends on the games you're playing, really factors into your chances of coming across said girl that games.
Well, then let me ask you, because you mentioned about 48% of gamers are women. How much of that percentage are mobile gamers versus console and PC?
I didn't do this much research.
You think we're reputable when we actually try this?
Yeah, well, and that actually comes down because I did see a statistic. Yeah, you give us too much credit. I did see a statistic that said something along the lines of how many girls are gamers versus how many girls actually identify as being gamers, and the number there was really small, it was 6% or something like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think because it depends on who you're asking and how you're asking them, but what's the difference between playing some games, especially like you said, it might be because a lot of this might be mobile stuff now, but I don't know. I also feel and I mean, this is just complete out my ass, not real facts, but I feel a lot of the streamers I see nowadays, I see just as many women as I see male streamers.
I think so. I think women have had a big upsurgence in streaming, and more so even I think it's actually growing more than male streamers to a certain extent. It might be weird sounding that way, but I agree. I do think there's a lot more female game.
Well, I think some
streamers.
of the sexual tensions and
they've got their demographic and market cornered, if you know what I mean.
but there's a difference between the ones that dress for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Another one, but
I'm just doing body paint as so and so.
But okay, so we have a little bit of a misconception about how many women are actually even playing games now. But what other since you're the expert in this matter, what are there other misconceptions that you feel that are out there?
I don't know about misconceptions. I mean, I can only speak for my experience, and I'm not speaking for all, women in gaming. But I think there has been some times, and I remember this one time I was out with my significant other at the time at GameStop, just looking for the next greatest thing. And I recently just beat BioShock Infinite.
That's a good game.
It's a fantastic game, beautiful. And this guy approached us and he was asking my significant other questions about it. He's never played it. He looked at it and said, oh, that looks like a cool game. But he never played it. I played it. And I went in to kind of say, oh, yeah, it's great. And he would not even look at me. It's like almost like I wasn't there. Like, oh, she's just there to shop with him or, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
So it's stuff like that would happen. But it really...
Like completely just like ignored you.
Like, what are you talking about? You don't know what's going on.
Oh wow, that has to be frustrating to a certain extent because like it's almost like feeling like irrelevant in a conversation that's something you're passionate about. That'd kind of be annoying. I could see that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, occasionally you are going to run into somebody like that, especially like if you are with a guy and he's a guy and maybe he's not even comfortable around girls. So like it could even be that too.
Yeah,
Especially just like thinking like, I think it's just even that statement in general. Misconceiving people's intentions is a bigger piece, I think, with all of this. People, it's so easy to get pissed off at someone or whatever, but you don't know what their intentions are.
Oh, yeah, there's always multiple sides to a story.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about any positives? Like, are there any positives of being a girl? Like, do you have any kind of advantages or anything?
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back to Destiny when I was talking about it again, like, when I made a mistake, I wasn't, bitched at. They were fine. They're like, oh, it's fine. So sometimes you do get that benefit. It's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay, honey. And it's like, hang on a second. But, thank you for being nice.
Get some mansplaining.
No one's like, fuck you, asshole. You suck. Get off the team. Because they don't want to lose the girl.
You get some mansplaining. You're like, it's okay. You just got to stand on this platform.
And not suck.
We'll take care of you. Yeah, I've heard conversations with it before. That's funny. No, I've fucked up severely in Destiny before. I've played that before, and those raids are very teamwork oriented.
Yeah,
and if you fuck up, you're like, especially you're probably with people that've done it like 20 times.
Yep.
And you can get eviscerated by somebody on the team. So like being able to dodge a toxicity in some things, I view it as a bonus. Because I've been pretty, ripped apart by some players on games like that.
Yeah,
but all right, cool.
Well, I almost like I said too, like I think part of the reason is like even if you're terrible or something at a game, like they don't want to lose the only girl in the room,
right?
And a lot of that probably does come down to like the sex aspect of it. Right?
It might be
like the what do you call it?
You're the first girl they've talked to in probably a month.
Yeah,
I think it's also something to do with like gaming. At the very, base of it, it's a hobby. And so to find someone who shares that hobby with you, I think it's people really excited. So it's like, oh, well, I'm a boy. And, if they like women, it's like, oh, there's someone who enjoys it when typically, girls aren't known for enjoying gaming. They're annoyed by it. They find someone who likes it. They're excited. So I don't blame them.
I can see that. It's almost like, wow, gaming has become so popular that girls are actually getting into it. That's cool.
Yeah.
And viewing it from more just like a platonic, that's kind of cool thing, and not like purely the, oh, that's hot sort of concept.
Well,
So
have you ever had has there ever been a situation where you've been in a game and everyone's just like giving you those dog comments, like the, hey baby.
Yeah, that's why I
usually get you from behind.
Well, no, I don't let it go that far. I usually turn my mic off by that point.
Because I know that's like kind of like a black.
Exists,
I know it's like a black spot too, in like the eyes of like the community. Like, oh, women, they get. But I think to myself like. Like, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Like I'd like to walk into like a room full of women with my headset on.
Like,
I'm gonna suck your cock, baby. I'm like, I'm super popular in here.
It's true. Like, I imagine like you go into a forum or you go into a gamer thing. You imagine a bunch of girl gamers and be like, "Oh, baby, you're hot." You'd be like, "I am a really good gamer. This is great." Like really, maybe just guys' egos are so shallow.
They might be.
That whatever for this.
I feel like we brought Sam on here just to be like, no. Bullshit, women. You want this?
No. I'm offering a counter opinion. I think like just from my occupation, things like that. Like I try not to like think
as a sex offender. Got it.
I try to think what others are thinking and why they do what they do. Now, granted, the problem with gaming is we don't have much. We only have verbal communication. It's usually a headset and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So really, the only communication guys will have with girls is verbal. So like, I don't know. They're very limited to what they can say. And because of that, it can't come across as a little doggish. I'm not come across as like the guy who's like, putting other guys down, but like because of that like limited type of communication, I think I don't know. We should be fuck it. We should try to communicate our interest in these unicorns we come across.
I just want to say that I have never thought that way about anyone. I'm a saint. I may have thoughts.
There once was a girl he saw, but he felt sexually attracted, but he looked the other way because the saint that he is, he would not disdain them.
A drink to that.
I think I think we all kind of fit into this niche category. Not girl gamers, but just gamers in general.
No, we definitely don't.
I identify as a girl gamer. I'm just joking.
You could if you wanted to.
Yes, it's my world, and I can do what I want with it. But we all kind of suffer from negative kind of perspectives of being gamers in general. Us as a community, I think we catch flack for being gamers. The person that's got the acne that's like,
yep.
Well, and you know what? That's actually a good segue to like start talking about before we start talking about some other stuff. Is there anything else from a girl's perspective?
And we're gonna stare at you now, so you say something.
Yeah, we're gonna.
No, but really, I think it's not often you get to have.
Thanks, Corey, for answering the question.
I'm gonna mansplain for the next 10 minutes. No, I'm just being honest. It's not often. I guess my question is, I've been thinking a while, and you know how there's like the MMORPGs, and there's like a lot of female characters, and the running joke is like fantasy armor,
right?
But like my joke is like if a girl comes at you in a game and she's got nothing but nipple clamps and like a sword, she's a badass because she's got like that ridiculous fantasy armor. But like in regards to girls in gaming, I know there's been a lot of stronger female figures coming up, Last of Us and things like that coming up. But how do you think like girls are portrayed in gaming? How do you think about that? I'm just curious.
I think in recent times there's definitely been a switch from the ultra sexy fantasy armor gaming like you see in Mortal Kombat.
The Dead or Alive boob jiggle.
Yes. Yeah. Versus now look at recent gaming the past couple years. You had Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh,
badass.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
You have Tomb Raider.
Pretty covered up.
Badass.
Like full armor and shit. Yeah.
I think they are taking that approach to be like, yeah, women, you're more than just a sex object.
The old Tomb Raider.
Strong. Well,
the old Tomb Raider, as we've discussed.
But, talk about the recent one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and I can appreciate that as a woman. I can appreciate that, and not to sound all feministy, but it's really nice to see that different approach other than what you call fantasy armor.
I can appreciate that. As a guy, like I'm used to being able to connect with my video game characters, Master Chief. Drake, all these strong male kind of characters you could just jump right into.
There's not a lot.
There's not much
from the female perspective of that. That's a good point, and it is kind of funny because you talked about that. You mentioned Horizon Zero Dawn, and that was like I remember when I played that, I was like, I like because no, it's a good game, but like I mean like even thinking like because I related it to like Uncharted and all that kind of stuff, and I thought like. I like being Nathan Drake better because it's easier for me to identify as a male character and think of all these games that are male character leads.
It is.
So that's why it is nice that like in this generation we're getting to where games are usually even having a selectable option at the beginning.
That's true. Like I played a few games where like just because of like let's look at Borderlands and they have the female male archetypes in the game, but you can only select certain characters and they're based off of a gender. And there's some characters in that series, like I wanted their skill set better, but I was playing as them and I still always felt kind of awkward. My one friend, perfect example, he will always intentionally play as a female character in first-person shooters and things like that because their hitboxes are always smaller. And I always ripped on him for it, but he was, the female frame. Yeah. But he'd always pick a tinier frame to be a sniper or something like that, and he was always sly about it. Yeah. But I don't know. I've always like had a hard time like connecting with those female characters.
Yeah, that's probably what girls feel like more often than we do in most of the games. But yeah, so Sam, you're here for the full ride today.
Absolutely.
So you can get.
She's already like halfway out the door. She's like, fuck these guys.
Never comes back.
I cannot believe I agreed to this bullshit.
So So we'll move on from girls in the gaming space, and we'll talk about some of these other stereotypes that we hear. Let's start with you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, Corey, but image. Right? Like image, appearance. Like
I'm hideous.
Well, like the old school. I don't know if this is like super relevant anymore, but whenever I hear the word gamer, even though I do consider myself a gamer, it's funny because I almost imagine the South Park episode with Warcraft. Like that dude on the computer just taking everyone out.
That is so funny because I think of the same thing too. Because like even being a gamer, I still have like really negative images of gamers.
Oh yeah,
it's like mom, poop bucket,
bathroom. That's what it was.
Bathroom.
And I think honestly, like it's funny because, and this is where you were talking about it earlier, is that there's definitely truth rooted in these stereotypes. And so like, yeah, I do think that there are a wealth.
Oh, I think
and maybe I shouldn't even go there. But like, I'm sure that there are plenty of gamers out there that like, maybe fit that profile, but there's a lot that don't. But I mean, I don't know how true it is because I mean, guys, we're like super hot. So.
Oh yeah.
So, but no, like that image of like either like the unathletic kind of person, right? But yeah, well, I guess
he's dying over here. But I think what he's trying to talk about,
I'm dying on the mic.
He's like, I'm trying not to offend anyone. No, I think what he's trying to say is like, just like life, there's body types for everything, and granted, video gaming, it's not the most athletic of hobbies. So I think the running stereotype is you have people that a little bit fuller figured. Yeah.
Bowlers.
Yeah, bowlers.
Wee bowlers. Even worse.
But yeah, I think, there's that running stereotype, and we even joked about it with South Park, I don't know. Is it prevalent anymore? Is that?
Well, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of the streamers that I see nowadays, like they all seem to be relative, like a lot of people are like relatively fit now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask you guys what your opinion was on eSport competitors.
Okay.
eSport competitors? I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about the eSport.
I've looked at it a little bit, and I used to like play League of Legends, and people are like ham over that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And these guys, it's a job. It is their job, and it's all about precision and timing, and it's really like.
Yeah, have you seen the Overwatch crowd?
No.
With esports? Oh my gosh, you should look into it. Like that is insanity.
The only esports I watch is Rocket League.
But no, like I think Sherry has a good point. That is a kind of another stereotype. You have people that are the transverse of that, acne-ridden person. It's that sweaty, super hardcore gamer type that does like
look how hard they go, but they make a lot of money.
They do.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily like about the money though when we talk about the image, because like I mean, I don't like as a gamer, I don't take esports seriously at all. Like I roll my eyes whenever people talk about game like esports, because it is like a hobby kind of thing that we're taking, I think, a little too far, but I'm not gonna complain. Like, I mean, I think it's neat that there's an opportunity. Like, we are like more and more we're getting to like you can do anything nowadays.
I agree. I think like I watched some esports tournaments and I'm like, wow, these guys are really hardcore. Mm-hmm. But at the same token, I'm like, well, they're kind of like pushing our agenda for us. Like they're going out there and they're pushing gaming. And I can always appreciate that to a certain extent. So, like, I'm weirdly torn between, like, wow, these guys are really hardcore and kind of like this, I call them the sweaty gamers. Yeah. But also, like, I don't know, they're out there, like, making gaming more relevant. So it's
well, it's actually kind of funny because that kind of rolls into another gaming stereotype out there, which is just like that gamers are hermits, they're shutaways, introverts, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm dying. That is disgusting.
It's a very syrupy drink.
Oh my god, I'm dying over here.
So I think that like But that's the other thing. Like look at what is happening with esports and even like all the conventions and stuff that you see. Like people are getting out there and doing a lot of things. And if anything, like gaming is really about building communities. And so like it might be a little more virtual, but a lot of times these people do meet up at conventions. And like I feel like there's tons of activities that these people get involved in. These people.
Yeah.
It's I always love
you people.
What do you mean, you
Us
people? Us people. But no, I've seen some really cool videos of people who have never met in their entire lives, other than like an MMORPG.
Yeah.
And they meet at a
It's
convention,
great.
and like it's almost like they just known each other their
Friends
entire
for
lives.
life.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Well, I think we're starting to get to a point where, like, even outside of gaming, that's starting to become a truth, though. Like, with just social media,
Oh yeah.
like people can say that gamers are introverts, but like, look at what social media is doing. I mean, it's really no different than like texting or Facebook messaging or something. You're just meeting them on what I would actually call is like like a more of an interactive activity and more worth your time. Here's a couple good ones, because I'm gonna merge together. Because you can, especially as adults, right? As we're getting older and we're playing video games in our adulthood.
I'm an adult.
There's like one that comes into play, or a couple that comes into play. It's a waste of time. You have no priorities, or even like merging that into it's lazy, no future goals. You're immature.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because. Well, I'll let you guys before I take away all the mic time here. I'll let Sam. How do you feel about that?
Thinking as a kid, I remember thinking, because whenever you were a kid, you really only got video games on your birthday, for Christmas, if you're lucky, Easter. But it was a rare occurrence when you got a brand new video game. So I have a lot of memories of just replaying the same games over and over and over again, because I had nothing else to do. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I beat the original Spyro.
Ooh, that's a great game.
So thinking when I was a kid, it's like, I can't wait till I'm an adult. I have a job. I can use all my money to buy all the games. But really, once I became an adult working a full-time job, I'm too tired to play games. Like, I have the resources to buy any game that I want. I just don't have the time or the energy, and I think that's really sad.
That is so true, because I remember as a kid having this idealistic image, like, I can't wait to be with my parents and stay up all night and play all these sweet-ass games. You become an adult, you're like, I have all this money and disposable income. Well, not much of it, but...
Catch-22, that's what this is.
It's like, and it's like, I can get all the games I want, and I've accumulated some systems because of it.
Yeah.
But now I kind of stick to systems to go, okay, what do I have to play for the next 2 hours tonight before I have to go work,
So you guys are kind of tackling like just like the things that we run into in his adulthood, but like coming from the perspective of, other adults looking sort of down on this activity. Here's my thought about that. I kind of compare it a little bit to like the amount of time that other adults like spend on social media, or more importantly, like Netflix or other streaming services. I mean, there's studies that say like on average, people watch about like 4 to 6 hours a day.
Shame on you.
on these streaming services. And I think to myself, well, how is that much different than like spending that time playing a game? Like, it's all, you're looking at screens. But the other thing I look at with that is, I mean, Netflix, you're just fucking sitting there like a zombie, like watching content that's fed to you. But games, you're interacting, you're using your brain.
I have a good experience I could talk about. I was talking to my coworker the other day, and we have similar Netflix habits, and we were talking about a recent series that came out, and I also told him I play a lot of games too, because the series was connected to a video game, and I told him how many hours I dumped into the video game. They kind of scoffed at me, and I said, well, it's just like the Netflix series, but I got to immerse myself in the character that much more. And I said, imagine if you had to watch that series and help that character make more decisions. And they're like, I guess I can see that. So I think talking to some of these people, and they might be able to have that same perspective if you can, I don't know, kind of communicate that in a different way. But I thought it was a cool conversation. But
was that The Witcher?
Yeah, he got me. But I told them, I dumped 100 hours into The Witcher, and that's where the scoffing came from.
That's also over the course of a long period of time.
Yeah.
Corey's like, yeah, like 2 days.
Yeah, but no, like someone no, like go tell someone another adult that doesn't play video games, say I dumped 100 hours into ...
Oh yeah,
and they're gonna look at you like you're a fucking loser.
oh yeah. I'll never tell people how many hours I have in Rocket League. I won't even tell myself.
But I think it was good though.
It's like I don't even want to say, but yeah, no, I think like total all the series that you binge and how much, and then you can kind of lump that into the same category. And and anyway, and then of course start looking at like the social media. Like I mean, I just see like adults like it's unbelievable. Like especially now, like when you are out, like at least when we like as gamers, if we're out and about. We're at least out and about, right? Like if I'm going to a bar, I'm at the bar.
Right.
But I can't tell you how many people I see on their smartphones just scrolling through. They're at the bar and they're on Facebook or something like that. And I think that's mindless activity.
Yeah.
That's like to me, that's more of a waste of your time.
I see a lot of people, and it's almost weird. You can see how much they comment on Facebook throughout the day, like how attached they are to it. And it is kind of weird. Like, I feel like gamers, when it comes time, and I'm not speaking for all gamers, but a lot of times the gamers I know, they're able to detach themselves from a gaming experience and go out to a bar or go out to get, a movie and things like that. Where I feel like social people that are addicted to social media or like heavily on social media, you're right. They aren't able to detach because they have their phone on them. There is no detaching. It's always on.
Yep.
Do you think that will be different once there's more like hands-on experiences like the Switch? So like imagine if Xbox came out with their handheld version. Imagine if Sony came out with a new updated version of their handheld system. Do you think that would change that at all?
I would love to take that opinion seriously. Can I have a guy say that? So actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually almost even mentioned that like with the Switch. It's funny how much the marketing push on something like the Switch is, its portability factor. But like, I think even though I play it in handheld more often than I play it on the TV, it's usually when I'm on my couch. Just like when somebody else is watching TV or if I'm taking a dump. Like that's the extent of like how I travel with that system. Because the truth is when I'm out and about, I'm out and about. Like I'm not gonna go to a bar and pull out like the marketing commercial for that for the Switch is ridiculous.
Or they're like
or like that girl that comes over to the rooftop party. Yeah. Like I would never invite her out ever again if somebody did that.
The grandma's funeral just whips it out. But it's so true though. The commercials are like, oh yeah, anytime, anywhere. And there's like,
we should make like our own commercial, like at the funeral when you're like having sex, you just like pull it out from under the pillow. Yeah.
Wait,
what?
At the funeral?
No. Well, I'm not married. No, these are two separate occasions.
It's all one combined experience. True immersion. We've reached a certain point in the conversation.
Yes.
But I do think that maybe we'll see if the cloud gaming comes into play and we have people that are like just playing on their smartphone and like you either attach to the controller or you don't even need to do that. Like being able to play like a game like Halo Infinite, like we talked about before, out and about, like maybe that will change a little bit.
I think with augmented reality, with like you slap on some Google lenses.
No, it's Microsoft HoloLens.
Okay, Microsoft HoloLens. Jesus Christ,
it's not Google.
I got my branding wrong. Shit.
At least it's not Nintendo.
I caught you a couple times in the last episode. I was like, you keep saying Google.
That thing that they put on their faces.
It's like you're drinking or something.
I know, right? But no, I think as access becomes easier and you don't have something big and cumbersome, and I still think the Switch is cumbersome to a certain extent.
Oh yeah.
You slap some fucking sunglasses on and you start hunting zombies. You know what I mean? That's gonna make people just like.
It's like
way more
look
involved.
what people did with Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
People ran in front of trains.
Yeah, people ran in front of trains. Remember that. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things that like I think when I think about gaming stereotypes, right? Because everyone has one that usually speaks to them the most, and that's the one that gets me the most. Is just this idea that. Especially as adults, like this is just such a disrespected kind of activity or like looked at so poorly, especially by others, our age range and above. And it's just like, no. And the truth is you can play games and be a gamer and also have other lives and do other activities. But I think this type of activity is just Like I think, and I'm sure there's been studies. I have not looked this up, but I'm sure there's been studies that talk about how much it helps your brain development.
Well, a lot with the hand-eye coordination, there has been studies that have been proven that, you could either, like you said, zone out and just stare at a TV screen, or you actually be immersed in the game. You have to react. Your eyes and your hands have to coordinate very quickly together. And there has been studies that have shown
Masturbation helps with that too.
exactly true immersion. No, I think there are a plethora of studies out there, and I think some dumb studies that regarding violence, things like that. But I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about violence in gaming and all that agenda that.
Well, that's a great one too. The idea that video games make you violent, or like make other people violent, and I feel like there's been countless studies that say the opposite of that.
I don't know. Every time I play a violent video game, I just want to choke the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
I'm joking, of course.
And you know what? Like, I think like a little bit has to do with like if a video game turns you violent, like you were probably already violent. And Sam, you're more on the social work side of things. So like, how do you feel about that idea that video games can actually turn you violent?
I mean, it's a scapegoat. It's people not wanting to actually fixate on the truth of the matter and increase those mental health services out there for people who need the help. It's easier to turn and point your finger. It's like, oh, it's guns. Oh, it's video games. Oh, it's alcohol. It's maybe it's a broken system that people are forced to live in, but I could talk about that all day.
and like, I'll not digress because I cracked a joke about wanting to harm people after playing a violent video game, and I was joking, but I think I don't think video games make people violent. I feel like it's just a scapegoat for bigger social problems that people don't want to resolve.
Exactly.
And it's easy to just go, you damn kids in your video games, And it's so easy when you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you're running over a prostitute, and then they go, oh yeah, it's obviously that game right there.
Right.
Yeah.
I think video games are more cathartic. I think if you're angry and you go play a video game, maybe it gets actually that stress out as opposed to penning it up then yelling at your neighbor.
It's like they say like boxers.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times like boxers aren't the people that pick fights and stuff like that, like the MMA fighters, because they get that aggression out in the sport.
Yeah.
But let me throw this to you though, like, cause like we talked a little bit about this like in a few episodes ago, but like, okay, so let's start talking about next gen or even later gens when graphics get better and better and better.
I mean, you really got to go around.
Do we get to a point though where we do play a game like a new age, like 10 years from now, new age Grand Theft Auto, where you're running somebody over and it looks so real to where like you start driving and then you accidentally just confuse where you're at and you just run someone out and you're like, ha, 10 points. And then your passenger sitting in there like, oh my God. You're like, oh fuck, this is real.
Like I always call those hyper realistic games like PTSD simulators.
Yeah,
because a lot of the games are coming out now where they're trying to be like photographic quality realistic. Yeah. I think we alluded to that. I don't think so, being honest, but I don't know.
It's weird because especially thinking of a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield, if the graphics become so intense and like, what's it gonna feel like or seem like whenever you're actually shooting somebody up with like a machine gun?
I have a good question to pose you guys. I know that as gaming has developed, even the pixelated garbage, the 007's 64.
Great.
At the time, that seemed like the apex of what graphics were like, and we're like, oh, it's so realistic. And each generation is, oh, it's so realistic.
Yep.
Do we feel like once it reaches that hyper-realistic point, is things really gonna change, or is it gonna be that, oh, it's so realistic mentality?
Do you know what I see? Kind of like the newest version of Oculus Rift. I think we're going to hit a point where we can't improve the graphics anymore. We're going to really start improving that technology of like, how else can we truly immerse ourselves? Like Oculus Rift has the fingers. Yeah. Then we'll have
She's been listening to our podcasts.
I was not. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's just news.
What? That's just news.
Yeah, that's just news.
Then they'll develop.
Nobody listens to us.
Then they're going to develop some kind of chest plate where when you're shot, you feel like the vibrations or like the pressure on your chest. I think they're really going to have to start focusing on other aspects of technology to really improve that immersion.
Yeah, I can agree. Which that can make things even
Can you imagine?
Dangerous.
Danger. No, I agree. I think true immersion, as much as we can interact with the game, is going to be the next big step. Whether and I think we touched base with that in our last kind of setup, where it's like the realism is going to be you feeling the game,
Right.
Yeah.
and whatever that's going to do to your psyche, who knows? But we're going to find out probably in the near future.
Yeah.
But when it comes to violence and stuff like that, I don't know. Just touching base back with that. I play some pretty realistic games. I'm still able to make that disconnect. And that's just me personally, but I think people will feel the same.
I still think even for realism, I think for you to cross the line, I don't think video games are ever to blame. I think there was always something laying dormant. I mean, I guess a better argument could be made to say, could it awaken what's there? Yeah. Like that could be a better argument, but I don't even know. Like Sam said, that might be also a cop-out type of argument.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, can these ultra-realistic video games desensitize a person to violence? Maybe. But is that what triggers someone to go and cause a tragedy? I don't think so.
No, I agree.
I mean, if they were going to do it, they were going to do it, whether the video game was there or not.
Right.
I think I can agree with that. And just look at history. Video games have only been existent for what, like, truly maybe a century, maybe like 80 years, starting from Tetris on the way up. People have been, and I'm not going to sound like dark, but people have been killing each other in droves for way before video games ever existed.
Yeah.
Why is it all of a sudden now video games have changed that? I argue the point that they haven't.
All right.
We're still the same old humans that we are.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it all of a sudden video games that are doing this? you know?
Yep.
Look at a history book in the Roman Empire. You'll get enough information there about human cruelty. So I don't think video games really have anything to do with it.
No. Caitlyn Jenner killed a guy. But yeah, no, that's I think a lot of these stereotypes that we mentioned today are starting to fade, like slowly but surely.
Yep.
Like as the increase in women playing video games, the fact that eSports is becoming more of a relevant factor. The image that a lot of these streamers, because that's becoming a career choice for people now, and we're starting to get a new image of what gamers look like. Now they're not unhealthy pieces of shit. Now they're just people with tattoos and dyed colored hair.
Right.
Yeah. And normally they're pretty, like, you think of the YouTube influencer, what do you think? It's like semi-attractive male or female that's just chill that likes to talk about video games. And I think that, and I think YouTube is, and that kind of outreach is doing well for gaming, because people now, when they go to YouTube and they see video gamers, they go, oh, these people are pretty funny, kind of semi-attractive. And I think that's really changing the image of video gamers.
Yeah. Really, and the only two that like are still a constant struggle is the violent scapegoat and the disrespect from an adult standpoint. And hopefully over time, like you see those fade away too, especially with these careers that are being made.
Yeah.
But I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll know when we're famous.
Sounds great.
But in the meantime, that about does it for us. Sorry for wasting your time, Sam. Nobody's going to listen to this.
I know.
Yeah, but thanks for coming on. We really appreciate your opinions.
Thanks for having me.
If you want more of us for some reason, you can follow us on Twitter at couch_cousins. We have a Facebook page. And also, we should mention that we're doing a follower giveaway on Twitter right now. So check that out. It's pretty cool.
Is it Dustin's bathwater?
It's Dustin's bathwater.
No way of knowing. You'll have to go to our Twitter and find out.
Ooh, exciting opportunities here.
So check that out. And you can also follow us on Twitch. We stream every other Saturday for now. We'll actually be streaming one this Saturday. So stay tuned for that. We stream every other Saturday, 1 o'clock for a few hours. And if you missed the last one, you can check it out on YouTube, the highlights video. So until next time, cheers.
Have a good night, guys.
See
or
ya.
day. Or morning. Yeah.
Whatever he says.
We had a perfectly fine ending.
I butchered it.